Hey kids, today we are going to be working on units of time. You've already done length, you've already done weight, and you've already done capacity. So that just leaves this one thing left for you to convert. But before I do that, I have two sad things to report to you. One, the bunny that lives on my computer table has been attacked by my dogs. He no longer has two eyes. He only has one, and he has hardly any ears left at all. And my pen. This is about the sixth one he's chewed up. But amazingly enough, it still works. And Bunny, you're going to have a new job. You're going to have the important job of helping me erase all my mistakes. So, even important after the dogs have chewed you up. Stay close by. Okay, so we are going to be converting these units of time. And as with all the other units, when you are converting from a larger unit to a smaller unit, you're going to multiply. And from a smaller unit to a larger unit, you're going to use division. And here we have our equivalency chart. So you might be thinking that time just means the time on a clock, but you can see here it relates to the amount of time that it takes for the Earth to travel around the sun and that sort of thing. All right, so we're ready to begin. Monkey, you got a question? Does time have metric units? Nope, we all use the same thing all around the world. So let's get going on this. All right, so we have our equivalency chart. And we're going to start with an easy one. Let's take a look at this one. Let's say you're 13 years old and you want to know how many weeks that is. So that means that you want to convert 13 years to weeks. So we're going from a larger unit to a smaller unit. So we're going to multiply. We'll take our 13 and we're going to multiply by how many weeks are there in a year. Well, I know that there are 52 weeks in a year, so I need to multiply those two numbers. All right, yay, another chance to practice standard algorithm for multiplication. So go ahead and write that down. And we're going to start by multiplying 2 times 3 and get 6. 2 times 1. Now we're ready to multiply by the tens place. Drop your 0. 5 times 3. 5 times 1. Plus 1 more. And we get 676. So in 13 years, you will have been 676 weeks old. Here we have 36 months, and we want to change it to a year. Now I know that I'm going from months to a year, or I'm going from a smaller unit to a larger unit. So I'm going to be using division. I know there are 12 months in every year, so I'll be dividing by 12. So I'm going to go over to the side, and I'm going to divide 36 by 12. I know 12 goes into 36 3 times. 3 times 12 is 36, and I have 0 left over. So I know that 36 months is equal to 3 years. All right, so let's take a look at this one. In this question, it asks how many hours are in 7 days. And when you read this, you might be thinking that I'm going from hours to days because they say that first. However, when we think about it, we are taking the 7 days and we are converting it to hours to answer the question, how many hours are in 7 days? So we are moving from a larger unit to a smaller unit. And so we're going to multiply. All right, so I'm going to say 7 days multiplied by how many hours there in the day. And there are 24. So I'm going to multiply 7 times 24. I know 7 times 4 is 28. 7 times 2 is 14, plus 2 more is 16, so I get 168 for an answer. So 7 days is equal to 168 hours. Okay, we're going to take a look at one more before you start on yours. All right, in this problem, we have 6 hours equals what part of a day? Now, I know that 6 hours does not make a whole day, so this is going to be a number less than 1. Well, how am I going to do that? Well, there's actually two ways. I'm moving from a smaller unit to a larger, so I know I'm going to use division. So I'm going to write this 6 divided by, well, how many hours are in a day? Well, I know there are 24 hours in a day. All right, so I can either do this as a fraction and say, oh, I know that means 6 divided by 24. 6 divided by 24. And then see if my fraction will simplify. And in this case, yes, it does. 6/24 is divisible by 6 over 6. So I can reduce it. It's another name for 1, and I get 1, and then 24 divided by 6 is 4. So I know that 6 hours is 1/4 of a day. The other way I can do this problem is I can write my answer as a decimal number. I know that 6 divided by 24 can be solved in a long division problem. My dividend is 6. My divisor is 24. I know 24 will not go into 6 as we see it, but I can put my decimal point at the end of my 6 and annex a 0. And then I can think of this as 24 into 60. Now I know 24 goes into 60 2 times. So I'm going to say 24 times 2. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 2 is 4. 48, that's as close as I can get without going over 60. So I'm going to put a 2 over top of my 0. 2 times 24 is 48. Subtract. And I have 12 left over. I'm going to annex another 0 and bring that down. I'm going to say 24 goes into 120 how many times? 5 times. So I need to do 24 times 5. 5 times 4 is 20. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 2 more is 120. And so that works perfectly. I put a 5 in my quotient. 5 times 24 is 120. With 0 left over. All right, now I don't have a decimal point in my divisor, so I don't need to do any shifting here. I just go straight up into my quotient. So I can see that 6 hours is 25/100ths of a day. Okay, boys and girls, I hope this instruction helped you a little bit on how to convert units of time. Enjoy your activity. Thank you.